So I just want to take a few moments to speak to you online entrepreneurs out there. You know, the online business world is certainly an interesting organism. And within the business dynamics, a lot of times there are things that you simply don't want to do, right? I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of aspects of business that we love being in business, but we don't particularly enjoy every element of it. And I mean, I think that's very normal. But there are times where do we have to kind of suck it up and do the things that we don't want to do? Yeah, there are times. But there's different ways that we can approach that because we can always ask for uncommon alternatives. Like, what's an alternative way for me to do something that I really don't enjoy doing, but it is a requirement? Is there a way to do this in a more enjoyable way or a different approach to, how you leverage that aspect, especially if it is a requirement? So that's something I just want you to think about just in terms of looking for the alternatives and uncommon alternatives, uncommon ways to be resourceful as well. Because again, the business dynamics, though, most people have dreamt of going in business and that's what they've really wanted to do. And then they get in there and then they see that, oh, it's not, all of it's not as cracked up to be, as maybe they thought. But again, that's going to really be with anything in life. But we have to realize that just like there's rain and there's sunshine, there are these different aspects that really do have to work together. But life is all about perception. And when we say we don't like to do something, especially things that are going to be required, like marketing, for instance, a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't like to market. But that is just one of the dynamics that you really just can't escape. Because even if you get a PR firm or you hire a promotion ambassador to market for you, there's nothing like the CEO or the business owner, a brand, showing up themselves to put themselves out there in a way and make the connection with their audience versus trying to put somebody else out there for you to market for you. I mean, you can do that, but that does not exclude you, or excuse you, I should say, from showing up to do the elements of marketing that you need to do and putting your face out there to make a connection. So things that you don't really care for, as I mentioned, just ask, get present with yourself and ask, are there some alternatives? What's an alternative approach, to this? And then certainly, of course, if you need some help, do enroll the help, because there are certain areas that maybe you are doing that you really need to delegate, right? But you can't escape doing some of the things, A lot of times there are, certain experts out there say, well, if you don't really like to do something, just simply don't do it. And, that has its place. But sometimes there are going to be times that you are going to have to do things that you really don't necessarily enjoy. You're not as passionate about doing them. And again, because those may be requirements for you, you just have to really find a way to align with what's going to be best for you so that you can get it done. And it can be a win-win where you can enjoy it and be fulfilled, as you're doing it. But something else I want to point out is just like when people are training, they may not enjoy every moment of lifting weights or doing certain things, but they focus on the benefits and the results of doing that. And so sometimes you can shift your mindset to think in that kind of framework as well, in terms of, now there are some aspects I really don't care for in a sense, but I know the payoff of this is going to be tremendous, right? So sometimes you have to come from that place until you can maybe find a way to do things in a way that is going to be more enjoyable, right? Because you don't want to be in resistance and then just kind of just be in this state of, I got to do this to get to this result. You do want it to be as enjoyable as it can be. Like I said, there are going to be times where things are just going to be tough. And I don't necessarily want to say you got to really tough it out in a sense. I just think it's part of the development. And you don't really want to shortchange yourself by having a process where everything is just so fun and easy all the time. You really need to have that kind of mixture of a little bit of contrast sometimes that will push you, to move forward, and also get you to explore new ways that maybe you would not have explored if everything just sort of aligned a certain way all the time. So I just want you to think about that, but just focus on the alternatives of things that you can do with different approaches. If there are things within the business dynamics that you just simply just don't want to do, you know. So, so I just wanted to share that, and definitely I'm holding space, you know, for all of you. And I know that this is going to be a really great year, you know, for you. But as you are progressing and moving forward, just know there's alternatives. There's never just this one way to do something. And you really have to just see beyond where you are. And but as you are searching out for these different alternatives or so, yeah, sometimes you're going to have to do some things that you just really don't care for as much. But there are ways to enjoy the process and to pick alternative ways to do it. Okay, so that's just my message for you, just on this topic, and I'll be back at you soon.